Alright, I need everybody to answer this question before we jump into this common YouTube problem. Have you ever had one of your videos from your channel get restricted on YouTube? Simply put, yes or no in the comments below. Now I assume that most of you are going to say no, and 24 hours ago we would have said the same thing. But let me show you something. So here we've got two identical screens of videos of a vidIQ channel, and what we're going to do is change one of these screens to YouTube's restricted mode. That will refresh that screen. So now on the left, we have normal YouTube mode, and on the right, we have a restricted YouTube mode. And now I'm going to scroll down the page a bit on both screens. And what I'm playing here is a game of spot the difference. And here we find one. What's happened to this video? Apparently, it's vanished in restricted mode. To double check this, I'm going to search for the title of a video in normal YouTube mode, and there it is. And now I'm going to turn on YouTube restricted mode again, and poof, all evidence of that video has disappeared again off of YouTube. So yeah, this might take a little bit of research on your side, but let me ask you that question again. Have you ever had a video from your channel get restricted on YouTube? And you can now edit your answer in the comments below. And now that you've done that, am I saying your videos aren't getting any views because your content is behind restricted mode? I haven't finished yet. In case you're not aware, restricted mode hides content that may contain any of the following, and it's often turned on for computers in public institutions such as libraries and schools. Think of it as the R or 18 rating when you go to the cinema, and it makes sense to have such a thing in place to protect YouTube viewers such as children from certain content. But this is where the questions start to mount up. vidIQ isn't renowned for its edgy content. We make educational videos on how to grow your YouTube channel. So how did that get restricted? And by including said clip, have I just restricted this video? And perhaps more importantly, how do you find out if a video is restricted? Disappointingly, the support pages suggest exactly what I did. Search for the title of a video on YouTube and then switch on restricted mode. That means a couple of things. Firstly, YouTube isn't going to communicate to you through email that your content is put in restricted mode. And secondly, there's no information, icons, or notifications in the YouTube studio that your content may be restricted. But what about the biggest question of them all? Since the video is in restricted mode, has it underperformed for the channel? Yes, it has. The video started off slowly and never really recovered. At this point, it's flatlined. And as you can see here, there is a shift in the age demographic of people watching the restricted video based against the channel's average. Although it does raise a question of how any of these viewers under the age of 18 were able to watch a restricted video. One of the reasons for this is because videos don't automatically go into restricted mode when they're uploaded. YouTube systems may need to check them first. I guess it's similar to the way that YouTube checks your video for any copyright matches. But YouTube lets you know about those copyright matches, so why not restricted mode? So I don't know, it could take an hour, 12 hours, 24 hours before a video falls into a restricted mode. But anyway, let's get back to the problem at hand. Is this conclusive proof that restricted mode will squish the views on your video? I've got more to add. Penguin0, Moist Critical, one of the largest YouTubers on the platform with more than 50 million subscribers. And is famous for the frequency of his uploads, which tend to be daily, if not more. That is until you turn on restricted mode. Now it looks like he posts barely once a week. But overall, restricted mode doesn't seem to make any difference. The channel has close to 10 billion views, and most of his popular videos are all unavailable in restricted mode. And quite frankly, that could be the end of a discussion. Restricted mode is there for a reason, and it seems to work. But what if it works a little too aggressively? We witnessed something very interesting during our weekly channel audit livestream. This channel was getting virtually no views from any of their videos, which just didn't seem to add up when you looked at their channel focus, thumbnails and titles. So we turned on restricted mode to see what would happen. And suddenly, it was as if the channel never even existed. Now I will concede that it is entirely possible that all of these videos should be put in restricted mode. Although the last time I checked, Teen Wolf 2 was a PG film, so the creator's reaction to it must be pretty edgy. I can only speculate, of course, in the absence of concrete information, but it almost feels like this channel has been put in some sort of restricted mode penalty box. No matter what they upload, it's going to be restricted on YouTube. But when you are a small channel fighting for every view, hell, every single impression, small details like this could really matter. And like I said, up until 24 hours ago, I wasn't even thinking of restricted mode when it came to the vidIQ channel. And then we have to go back to the communication around videos in restricted mode. Does this creator even know the state their channel is currently in? Do you know if any of your videos are in restricted mode? And do I think that restricted mode is the reason a lot of small channels never get any views? No, I don't actually. Like community guidelines, ad policies and copyright rules, restricted mode is certainly something to be conscious of as a creator. But your ability to connect with your audience is always going to be the biggest swing factor when it comes to the success of your channel. And so going back to this video, I don't think it performed poorly for the channel because it was restricted. I think it performed poorly because we were testing out a long-form interview style of content that the audience didn't connect with as much as we'd hoped. Lesson learned, we move on. And if you want to call restricted mode some form of shadow banning, sure, go ahead, why not? It's the closest thing we know of to such a thing, and YouTube doesn't tell you when it happens to your videos.